Welcome back. In previous lecture, we have understood about null provider, null resource, time provider, and also reviewing the manifests about whatever the changes we are doing as part of this use case. Okay, so we have seen all these things, defining the providers and also about the time sleep wait 90-second resource, and also about the null resource with all the connection block and then provisioners inside that. Okay, file and then remote exec provisioner. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and then execute the Terraform commands. Okay, so let's go here and go to 09 and 0904 null resource and Terraform manifest. Okay, and we should have c1, c2, c3 and all the information required for it. Okay, so I'll say clear, and I'm going to say Terraform init to download the providers. Okay, provider plugins. So once downloaded, we move on with the next step of validate, plan and then approve. So what I'll do is, like, now you can see that null provider is getting downloaded and time provider also is getting downloaded as part of this. So now what we will do is, we'll go here and then we'll go ahead and then apply auto approve, or if you want you can run Terraform apply and then review what all it is going to create once. It generated the plan. It is going to create 5 resources. 3 resources will be one EC2 instance, 2 security groups, and also a null resource sync app1 static, which is null resource it is going to generate, and also time sleep wait 90 seconds resource also it is going to create. Okay, so I'll say S for all these things to get created. So with that, it is going to create a security groups EC2 instance, and once the EC2 instance is created, it will wait for 90 seconds, and after 90 seconds it will create the null resource. So as part of null resource, so it is going to connect to the EC2 instance whatever we have created, so which is nothing but AWS instance my EC2 VM public IP, and then it is going to run the file provisioner, which will copy the apps app1 folder inside that, and after that it will run the remote exec provisioner to copy that app1 folder from temp to /var3w HTML folder. So with that said, we will go ahead and then access those things by connecting to the server and also accessing it on the browser. Okay, so after that we'll go ahead and then test the changes whatever happens on the local. Okay, so if any change happens to this, we know that any changes happens to this configuration files Terraform apply when you run, so those changes will be reflected on the remote resources. But whatever the changes you do inside the static content, right, so how it need to be reflected is using this approach of null resource with triggers always update timestamp. Okay, so whenever you run Terraform apply or plan, the timestamp will be different, and at that point of time always the changes to null resource will be executed. So which means always whenever the null resource changes happens, it is going to connect and then do this job always. Okay, so that's about the concept here. So let's wait for the resource to get created. Our EC2 instance got created, so let's verify the logs once. Okay, so it first created the security groups for us and then started creating the EC2 instance my EC2 VM. Okay, so as part of that, once the EC2 instance is completed, using that time sleep resource, it waited for 90 seconds. Okay, so it waited for 90 seconds, and then once 90 seconds is completed, it created that time sleep resource, and then it moved on to the next resource, which is null resource sync app1 static. So inside that null resource, it first provisioned the file provisioner and then remote exec provisioner. Okay, so with that, it is connected to that respective things and then executed the stuff. Okay, so this completes the entire creation process. So now we'll go ahead and then connect to the resource and then see what is happening. Okay, so as usual, I'll say chmod 400 and then I will say private keys and then terraform.key.pem. So I'm giving the permissions so that we don't get any error, and this is the command ssh-i and private key /terraform, and the user EC2 instance IP is this one. So let's paste it and enter into it, and if you go to /tmp, so you should find the files here. App1 folder is created and inside that files are there. Okay, so now we'll go to var 3w html, and inside that also you have the app1 folder and you can access that. Okay, so this is the IP address and this is the index.html, and if you access app1 slash file.file1.html, and you got the app1 file1 updated, and app1, what happened, dot is at the end, so remove that, app2 file2. Okay, so this is file2 and then this is file1. Okay, so now we'll update those things and then test it. Okay, so this completes the creation of the resources. So now what we will do is we'll go here, so as part of this respective step, right, so create a new file locally in app file, which is app1 file3. Okay, so add that, and also in file1 add something. Okay, so let's go here, and what I will do is in apps, okay, and I'll copy this file1, okay, and I will paste it here itself, and it becomes the file3. Okay, so I'll rename it to file3.html, and I will say it as app1 file3. Okay, so now we added the new file in our local. Okay, so that should reflect in the new resource without touching the AWS instance.myec2 VM resource from Terraform perspective. It need to be updated using null resource. And in file1 also, what I'll do is I'll say updated by Kalyan Reddy. Okay, so let's see what happens. These changes we have done. In file2 also I'll say updated by Kalyan Reddy. Okay, so now we can go here. So we have updated that. Now let's go ahead and then run the Terraform plan and then see what happens. Okay, so exit from the EC2 instance. Okay, now we are in Terraform manifest. Let me say Terraform plan. Okay, irrespective of whether you update there or not, automatically whenever you run Terraform plan, it will show the changes for the null resource, because of you have said that timestamp will be my change state always. Okay, so which means whenever the timestamp changes, it need to do the stuff for us. Okay, see, trigger is always update and the timestamp. So with that said, it forces a replacement of this null resource. Okay, so it will destroy and recreate this null resource, which will sync the latest changes whatever we have done in our app1 folder. So if I say Terraform apply auto approve, so the changes should take place by changing only the null resource. So we are not touching the EC2 instance, whatever it has created using this resource, AWS instance myec2 VM. So null resource is getting replaced. So when it is destroyed and then recreated, during the recreation time, again it will connect and then resync the latest files to the EC2 instance, whatever it is created. So let's wait for the null resource to get completed. So it has completed the changes. So now let's go back here and then access file1. Okay, you can see app1 file1 updated by Kalyan Reddy, and app2 file2 also updated by Kalyan Reddy. In the same way, here also app1 file3. Let's see this, and app1 file3 is also present. Like this, the changes will be in fraction of seconds, and using null resources, you can use the provisioners accordingly as per the need. Okay, so this completes the null resources section. So we can go here and then destroy our resource and also clean up the files. Okay, so this completes the entire provisioners and then null resources section. Means like in the entire section we have discussed about file provisioner, remote exec provisioner, local exec provisioner, and also null resource in combination with the remote exec and then file provisioners. Okay, so I'll see you in the next lecture with section 10, which is nothing but about modules. Okay, so until then, bye bye. Thank you.